I have no idea what you mean there, Igars. Go and keep the fight going. Peasants are entering. Right, trying to think where to station my army so I have something resembling defense. You can be there, you'll be defender of Anatolia. Whilst the coalition continues to grow, that's fine. The best thing that can happen for me is the coalition strikes once. When I have multiple coalition wars, it's just a whole lot more battles that I have to win in order to get out of said wars. Which is not really what I'm looking for. Okay, Ligor as well. Granted, I did bully Ligor earlier on. Alright, that's their pathetic capital taken. I don't see any threatening armies around here, so I will be happy enough just to split up and occupy it all, so it's a bit cheaper to take on the peace table. I guess there's this stuff, isn't there? And one must continue to educate one's subjects. Yeah, Crete, I don't know what's up with them. They don't want to rise up anymore. Taking care of my trading fleet, will you? Cairo rising up with... well, that's not a problem. It's fortified for exactly that reason. Pretty gutted that I lose that battle, but oh well. Everything else continues to fall, though. The Mamluks are not in a good place. Not at all. Well, we kept the Mamlukian fleet in place, so I should be able to sink or capture their flagship easily enough. Hehehehe. Good riddance. That's what they get for thinking they can best me at, well, anything really. And those occupations come flooding in. Not too worried about the Mamluks doing the odd occupation here and there. But I'm also not sure if I'm keen on pushing this to 100%. Then again, I don't really want to peace out with them until I have these cores done, which is going to take until... it's going to take another year, actually. So we have a year of war with the Mamluks going yet. And just continue cleaving apart their forts. I'm at the point where I still gain manpower when I'm at war, which is a great place to be. That's probably because I'm fighting war here that doesn't have lots of battles in it, whereas if I was fighting, say, a coalition war, it wouldn't be quite so cozy. Yeah, they escaped. Let's get the Egyptus army back together. That almost certainly doesn't have the supply limit, so I'm not sure any of this really does. Just get there, slaughter them, and then get onto the boat. I need to take Cyprus. You're going to try and appease Southeast Asian countries whilst warring the Mamluks in the hopes to get them out of the coalition. Oh, I have a better way of getting them out of the coalition. It's fighting them and destroying them. And I was wondering what Switzerland is doing here, but that's not the Swiss. Finally. The Cretians. They show their true form. Well, they're just gonna have to stick there for a while. It was fun spying on the Mamluks, but that's over. Still, it's nice to get that bonus to the sieging there. Because they've got good fortifications, but my spy network and siege ability actually cracks through the bulk of that. Wonderful. A lot of wonderful things about this campaign. The name placement is certainly one of them. Cracking through these forts like they're made of pink wafers is another good one. I mean, my siege stack is traveling faster than my many other carpeting stacks. Which is not usual, but very welcome. Not usual is the wrong way to say it. It's not typical. Gun them down. Who else is trying to rise up right now, though? I know there's somebody... Oh, Ottomans, of course. Who would have suspected such a thing? Okay, let's take Cyprus lickety-spit, so that I don't have to even think about it again. Oh, that is not quite the plan. Nobody wants to work. The neats are everywhere. Still a lot to do here, but we'll get it done. This guy has a lot more autonomy than I'd like him to have as well, probably because he's not fully cored everything. I hope he does by the time I integrate him. Be not too amusing if he doesn't. It's quite expensive for me to convert places that have high autonomy. Well, thankfully he has plenty of places that don't. Brace yourself, I'll soon have four missionaries to make this all go even faster. It's going to be a nicely sized whatchamacallem out of all this. Actually, maybe I don't want to give more land to you. I'm able to directly core things a lot faster than you're able to. And I'm going to be low on states by the time I integrate you anyway, so it's probably a cheaper deal for me just to gobble it up for myself. We'll consider what's what once we... oh yeah, there's that. Once we have the cores done on the Ottomans and I can make my peace there. And that's going faster than I thought. It'll be done in May. Get over there and keep it going. Ugh, Anglican. Let's get you out of there. Great Britain immediately not happy with my comments about his state religion. It feels rather nice, if quite unusual, to be able to walk over these countries after having such a hard time throughout the campaign. Little PRoman, the Burmese nation that could. Absolutism is still very high. One would say it's even at its maximum. I'll get a bit more out of this fight. Occupy Yaz as well. It's getting hard to get more war score off of these guys. Not when Mahra and Yas are still, well, Nagai as well. But this capital should serve me at least a little bit when I take it. Aren't those Syrian cores? So you don't need to core them. When I integrate them, I pay the full cost for the integration, but that means I get the full cores, but maybe I won't be stating it. Now granted, I probably want to state up the state of Syria. I'm less so sure I want to do Aleppo and Al Jazeera though. Give me that mercantilism. Is this the guy that commits war crimes on a regular basis, says Delection7, in a manner of speaking. There are a lot of people who watch these streams that cannot tell fact from fiction. That's their loss, really. Okay, those cores are getting done at an alarming rate. And Cyprus is done as well, which is good news. Always get your 113 to 1s, guys. Only applies to land warfare, 'tis but a joke. It's nice having the actual army that can take care of the rebels as well as fighting the wars. I don't think I need you protecting Greece right now. Not when there's Not when there's an Anatolia to worry about when it comes to Rebs. Lovely. It didn't last long at all. Okay, I'm pretty confident I can get whatever peace deal I want out of this guy. Oh, he's still a fierce negotiator. Perhaps not. Well, what is there even left to take off of the Mamluks? He's got a bit of land over here, but that land is worthless. He still has a tiny bit of an army down there. Again, worthless. But you guys can move in and destroy them. I'm getting ticking war score as well, which is a nice bonus. Alright, the Ottomans rise up, as we knew they would. You're the one that's not protected by a fort. Either way, I'll get Loller Skater on the case. And get them dealt with. Which means you're not needed there so much. Is Shirvan on the menu this stream? I don't actually know when this land is on the menu. I didn't put it down in my notes. I guess it falls under cleanup. Unless you have a good way of putting it into the timeline. As in, does it come before or after Britannia, or South Germany, or the Maghreb? Those are the kinds of relations that I need. 30k mam stack in Mashriq. I see them, but I got a bigger stack ready to rock and roll. Oh my. He won't like those rebels. That'll make him more keen on peace, actually. Very keen on the peace I've chalked up. I'm a bit saddened that he's getting these occupations back in his own name, though. And I can't make the peace just yet, because I'm waiting on all these cores. So there's going to be a bit of a pain moment here for me. Just move in there, cause him a lot of pain. Those stacks are meaningless. You guys get over here. Well, you're about to come down here and cause him great pain there as well. Surely after Britannia. There we go. That's the kind of dating that I was needing. First time catching a live stream after years of YouTube scrubbery, says Soft Snacks. Thank you for introducing me to such an amazing game and for playing such an entertaining way. Do you mean EU4? Because there's a lot of people coming in for Frostpunk these days. Since this is EU4 stream, I'll assume you mean EU4. Those cores are coming along a storm. They'll be done in May, and we're in March. If I just hold out a little bit more, then this is all game, set, and match. I'm not going to defeat his own rebels for him. There's little incentive for me to do so. Might march down to Adana, though. Finally catching a stream is our greetings from greetings from Germany. Why do the Germans keep saying this? At this point, maybe it's not even Germans saying it. I don't know what to believe. Speaking of which, GDQ, Games Done Quick, will be starting real soon. And it'll be auto-hosted on that. I knew you could do it, McCain! I knew you could squeeze something out of there. Finally, something that's not only above average, but considerably above average. I think we're going to call this guy Pious. Or is it Pious? I don't know. I didn't ask. Hopefully he actually survives. I am astonished, says McCain. Why? Because you haven't slept with your wife in 5 years? Don't worry, it's known to happen. Also, another thing that was music to my ears. A little bit of Portuguese has been removed. It's the beginning. Having all these all these missionaries really lets you storm through the conversions quite nicely. Feels bad doing it on my subject instead of me, but I'm investing in the future here. It's no bad thing. Soon, very soon. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. All of a sudden our overextension is at a laughably low level, so it's time to start thinking about carving this guy up. I could also take this land. He's not so keen on it, because he's still a fierce negotiator. But it would give me less to worry about in that front. Well, the more I take, the, well, let's be honest, happier I'll feel. But that kind of peace deal does solve a lot of our problems just as it is. Take Al-Karek for the fort. I mean, wow. A level 2 fort. Granted, it's in the mountains, but really, do I need to fortify any of this? Am I really going to have large armies that I can't handle invade around here? It's fine if they walk up to Cairo and Rosetta and get stuck there, especially if it's Rosetta. But I don't feel the need to fortify this area heavily right now. Cyprus, oh, we're definitely taking Cyprus. I just can't think of anything else worth taking on this peace table. So we shall... Oh, well, look who thinks it's time for a comeback. Mamluks storming on in now. That fierce negotiator trade is what's really stopping me here. I guess ongoing battles is also hurting me. But that's this tiny insignificant battle where I'm going to get wiped anyway. Which is fine, because I got 1500 manpower back directly from it, and I don't think you were split off from a stack of any significance. But with every passing month, he becomes less and less keen on peace, so I imagine next month I'm going to get everything I want. Sometimes you just gotta know when to hold out. And that's it right there. Bloop. A reasonable peace offer. I'm willing to take it. Oh, my name. That name placement hurts. I took Cyprus to improve it, not to flop it over more. Right, this is it. Morocco and Tunis definitely need to die. Well, what fortune. I can cross off Mashriq and Crimea, and that unlocks the next level, which is France. And I'm not waiting on Toulouse being integrated. We practically have France right now. The only thing I need to do is take the fight directly to Britain. Sadly, Britain are in that coalition against me, so we need to think outside of the box here. Britain are allied to Cuba. Is that really thinking outside of the box? I don't have anything to do with Cuba. That's more along the lines. They guarantee the independence of France. I don't remember at all if making somebody co-belligerent brings in the coalition or not. Does anybody in chat know? Because it would be very useful to me. Oh, sorry, Syria. I gave you those rebels. Didn't mean to. It does. Thank you, then. We don't need to make Great Britain a co-belligerent. But it only doubles the cost of land. Which still means we could take a good 7 or 8 provinces off of him here. And we'd get a separate peace with him. Which could be useful in its own way. Downside is I don't have a CB on for... Ah, no, those colonies I swore I'd take someday are there for the taking. So, war with France in 73. It's only 2 years away. And I should... Hang on, are you currently under attack here, France? Oh, you've allied with Cuba and Ndongo. Hopefully neither of those walk over here to give me grief. Well, let's prep ourselves with 4 units to take over this land, so we get the ticking war score, maybe. But otherwise, I just want to step all over France and then take GB's land too. Gonna be rough on Diplo. What hasn't been rough on Diplo? Anyway, since France is essentially done and under Toulouse, and we're actively integrating them, I don't feel the need to gate myself towards Morocco and Tunis, who we've been spying on, so that we can make and stake our claims. The cost of Morocco in total is 127. Oh well, Morocco. I think Morocco's the next to go, and since they're allied with Tunis, I'll bring Tunis in separately, and I'll be able to eat up almost their entire country. How fortunate. For me, and very unfortunate for them. I guess we'll take Salé, because Salé was such a problem for us for a while. Otherwise, though, we also have cores to make. I don't fancy giving any of this to Syria, though. God, it's so nice and cheap. Not that it's the most astonishing provinces ever known, but I still like cheap. Wonderful. Lochshaden says, "Hi Jake, I'm currently watching you from the other side of the globe." There's many things I could say about that, but most of all it just confuses me. There's only one side to a globe. Man, that coalition is pretty huge. Well, as long as it doesn't include Mongnai, Assam, Delhi. Oh, Delhi's on the cusp. Delhi's a very unfortunate person to have in the coalition against me, so let's keep them solidly out. I'm going to use up my spy network on the Ottomans right now. I guess down the line I'm going to want to smooth these borders out, so I'll stake some claims on this stuff. Similarly, Mamluks, what do you have that I want? Alright, took Jerusalem, so I'll be getting that extra missionary soon. Then I'll make my claims around here, up the Al-Krak, and we're good. And there's that extra missionary, thanks. Not only the extra missionary, but we get tolerance of true faith and added prestige. It comes together very nicely. Prestige will kind of stay settled at that point, which is good for tossing all those heirs into the ocean. Hachuran joined the coalition. What's the world coming to? The Greeks wish to rise up soon. I mean, we're more or less ready for them. That's a big stack. A 68 stack. Now it is pretty much the right size for things, but where can one even fit a 68 stack? On Macedonia? Or, So you defend Greece. You could join the defense of this, but I need an army that can take on Morocco and Tunis. Maybe you can defend this whole area, and I'll have you folks pop on over to Carthage. Just take a happy little jaunt there. Yeah, this is largely agreeable. Didn't come up with an answer for you, though. How about you head over here, and you folks head down here. It's hard to find good supply limit for you. But that's the next war that I'm anticipating, so down you go. I'd actually like to have an extra army at this point. Manpower's looking good, and the force limit is certainly there. So 36, huh? That's a big army, and it would cost a lot of money. But what's the point in being able to have a large army if you don't make it? 36. 36. Hoocha. It's expensive. I dread to think how much this is actually going to cost in maintenance, but let's build now, worry later. It's not like I don't have a sizable coalition that's starting to spawn the whole world. Brunei is joined in, which is also unfortunate. But I hope that they don't fire on their own. I wonder if I can get any friends. I wonder if Russia would be my friend in this this time of need. Nah, forget it. We cast away such petty dependencies. Oh, I saw it, TTC. I saw it. Is there a reason you're not conquering Byzantium/Constantinople? Well, Anohito, the conquest of Thrace was around the time of the conquest of Britannia. So we got a ways to wait. Rhodes and Cyprus. Glad I kept the fort on Cyprus then. On you go, you've got a job. He's got a bow. Trading in incense is pretty useful for us. Tolerance of true faith, smashing down that revolt risk. And hey, with this going, we almost have our good subject almost completely converted to the one true faith. We're annexing Toulouse because the conquest of Gaul is next on the list. Perhaps I should start using this because I want to do some of my own lands as well, don't you know? There was a reason I couldn't do one of you. Why was it? Ah, he's erecting a naval equipment manufactory. Good job. Investing in me. It's the best kind of investment for my subject to do. Jay, can you punch estates for Diplo to speed up the return of positive Diplo points? I haven't punched my estates in quite some time, so it's probably long overdue. Unfortunately, the burghers have very low influence over me for reasons I can't explain right now. I could probably just give them more land to deal with that. I'll tell the nobility to go on a diet. But that's still not enough. Damn, all of my guys have pretty low influence here. Decline in the nobility will be up soon enough. I could give the burghers some land. They'd be pretty happy with that. But there are a few problems with that. They want stated land, and I don't have a lot of stated land to give, and I don't want them to give the autonomy. So I guess no, we'll just hold out. I mean, they would give me about a year's worth of dip, and that's all. This is actually really nice. Mercantilism is really good, but unrest reduction and manpower recovery is very important to me right now. When's that war going on, by the way? December 73, so I have about a year and a half. We're mobilizing, which is fine, and Morocco's allies are limited. Brazil, no! Not like this. Shouldn't be difficult to jam these guys between my two giant armies there. Now get back there, the Greeks are revolting. And the Crimeans. However, Crimea is defended by a pretty good fort. It could be defended by a considerably better fort that captures all of these provinces if I just chuck that shipyard away. Clunk. Any other forts that I want to reposition here? Stuff that I've taken but think could be better if I did it. This is on something quite nice, but the fort levels are pretty gash around here. I could erect a fort on both of these, which would keep it nailed off pretty well. But then people could still come around here. What's the point in rebuilding the Roman Empire if we don't have good defense erected? I'm mostly worried about sizable Central Asian armies waltzing on in here. You might reasonably think maybe you should also upgrade the ones that we have. Costs a lot of dosh, you know. I'm not made of fire. I'm not made of money. I got that one the wrong way around. I'll compromise a little bit on them and smack level 4 forts on them